Chomp.
Hi everybody and welcome back to You Are Supreme Toys. Today we've got another DASIN model review. We're going to look at Kurama from YuYu Hakusho. The Fox Demon himself. Just looking at the box, there isn't a lot to talk about. It's just his name across the front. Absolutely nothing on it other than YuYu on the back. So since the packaging is bland and boring, let's go ahead and pop him out. Okay, so like Yusuke, Kurama comes with a lot of accessories. So we're going to go ahead and go through the accessories. Just like other figures from this line, he comes with this nicely sculpted and washed flooring for his stand. He comes with two adjustable poles that have 3 points of articulation on the long one and the short one. He also has the two claw attachments for the poles. He comes with his thorned vine whip. It looks pretty good. Pretty simple. I was worried that this was going to be a bendable wire accessory, but it is not. It is just a soft, flexible plastic. Like Yusuke, he comes with his school bag. Kurama has a pink and red rose. They both look pretty decent. Not the cleanest paint, but it is what it is. Kurama has 4 different faces. Out of the box, he has his pretty stoic face attached. He comes with this smiling, looking to the right face. He comes with a talking or commanding looking face. He has a more concerned, looking to the left face. And then he has a little sweepy face because he's all tired. And besides the closed fist attached to him in the box, he has 5 pairs of hands. These 2 reaching out hands. These 2 grasping at your hands. These 2 gripping hands. These 2 rose holding hands. And these 2 smaller gripping hands. So he has a variety of accessories to help broaden his dynamic posing, grasping, and facial expressions. Let's bring old Kurama in here. Take a look at that face sculpt. The face paint on all the faces is nicely done. It's clean, it's simple. There's not a lot there other than the eyes, eyebrows, and mouth. Everything else is molded in a flesh-colored plastic. He is fully clothed in soft goods in his somewhat pink school uniform, the yellow running down the front. The ugliest part of this uniform is the fact that the back is velcroed shut, and it's very obvious and kind of bulky looking Velcro. It's not as, say, seamless looking as Yusuke's shirt was with the magnets, so I'm not really fond of that. His hair is a kind of firmer plastic. It has some give, but it feels kind of like it might break. It's not as, say, pliable as Yusuke's was. It does have a lovely wash around the back and front of the hair, so it's not just a flat red. Again, he has the same issue with the ankles as Yusuke did, where the flesh of the foot around the shoe is painted and it's kind of sloppily done. So I assume the articulation for Kurama is exactly identical to Yusuke. He can move and turn his head on a ball joint. Despite his hair being long, it doesn't get in the way too much, especially since the neck also moves, so you can still get a nice looking up pose, and he can look down pretty decently. His head is kind of loose compared to Yusuke's. I'm not sure why that is. Let's see how loose that is. I don't know why it's like that. These can get in the way when you want to pose his head, but not too bad because they are kind of set out away from the head and the neck. Like Yusuke, he has a double ab and stomach crunch on a bobble. So he's got a nice range of motion on the stomach and waist. The uniform is sewn shut down the front, thus the velcroed back. It is sewn to the neck, so the only part of the uniform that's velcroed goes up to the neck. And then I guess if you wanted to slide the uniform off, you'd have to remove the head and move his arms out forward. But this gives us a nice look at the stomach articulation and sculpting. It's almost Migo-like. They're not the most aesthetically pleasing articulation cuts, but since he's a fully clothed figure, it's hidden pretty well. Of course, he has the butterflied shoulders that can move forward and backwards. And they move up pretty well. They hinge and swivel as well. He has a double jointed elbow, which cuts pretty good past the 90 degree. There is a swivel at the bicep. And of course his hinged and rotating hands. Because of the seam of the pants, he won't be able to spread his legs apart further than this. He does have a pretty good range of motion for his legs. One of those hips is really tight. He can move them back and forward pretty good. They're on a ball joint and a hinge. There is a thigh twist. And of course a double jointed knee, which goes past the 90. And then his swivel and hinged rocker ankles. The ankles are a tad loose. Surprisingly, the pants is velcroed at the front. But since the shirt kind of hides it, it's not a problem. It is pretty difficult for him to stand because of those loose ankles. Now, to change his facial expressions, you actually have to remove the head and then pry the hair off the front and the hair off the back. Just take the face we want to give him, slide it in, pop his hair back over the front. Looks good. Let's see how this one fits. Alright, that head is a little bit tighter than the other one that came with him in the box. And the hands pop out really easily. Again, it's a very small peg. Pop on very easily too. Let's see how we can get him posed. Looks pretty good. Of course, lots of different options for him here. Get me a sleepy bye head. We'll give him a rose by any other name. After my review of Yusuke, I realized this. If you want it to look like his hand is in his pocket, just remove the hand and then position the wrist connector into the pocket. It looks like he has his hand in his pocket, and that's a very useful little trick. So he can sit here and smell the roses if you want. He's pretty great. Other than a few minor nitpicks, this figure comes out pretty well. I like him a lot. Again, if you wanted to use the stand, you would attach the claw end to the smaller peg on the stand. And as mentioned, be cautious as these translucent plastics can be brittle. Then you would attach this to the peg in the base. And these bases are really tight. That peg is going to go in there real tight. As mentioned in my last video, these stands are interconnectable. So I could actually take Yusuke's flooring here and Kurama's flooring and attach them together and make an even bigger floor, which is pretty nifty. So the more DASIN figures you collect, the bigger display base you can have. That being said, it's kind of wonky. It doesn't fit together very well. I just realized that the connectors here are completely modular. So you can remove them completely and piece these things together from the side. If you want to elongate the flooring, like so. So that makes that a little bit extra nifty, in my opinion. Also, as mentioned, you will likely stress these portholes trying to attach this large end of the stand into them. And let's see how he scales with Yusuke. Actually, I would say the scaling is right on, because Kurama is just ever so slightly taller than Yusuke in the show, and here it looks like it is pretty accurate. So maybe they have different torsos or leg attachments that help them elongate the legs and arms for these figures, because this looks good. So I'm really looking forward to getting both Hiei and Kuwabara in, because I need to see if the scaling continues to be accurate. But these guys look great together. And I gotta say, I'm really liking these DASIN model figures. I'm just very surprised at the quality and cost. You typically get what you pay for. I feel like this guy is a $40 figure. It's right on the money. That's about what I paid for him. They're going for roughly $40 to $50 depending on which vendor you purchase them from. And I really think that they're worth every penny. As mentioned, the only nitpicks I have are with the ankles, and in Kurama's case in particular, the pretty ugly Velcro seam on the back of the shirt. But other than that, his accessories are really good. His face options are really good. His construction, the paint apps, everything's really decent with this guy. I'm not particularly familiar with the pedigree of DASIN model, but if all their products are of equal quality as Yusuke and Kurama have been, then I look forward to continue collecting their figures. So this has been an unboxing and review of Kurama from YuYu Hakusho from DASIN Model. And I am UR Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.